Okay, so John decided, right? Okay, you know, maybe not even John, or somebody at TDX decided to re-add the Commander Tower, the Tower Battles Commander Tower, to TDX at the low price of 10,000 crystals. And I mean, to a wide majority of people, that might sound crazy, but I mean, this is a big step for us free-to-play TDXians, right? I don't know if you guys watch, but you know, recently I made a video about FOMO, right? And the issues of it, and you know, I actually talked about Commander very briefly in there. And I'm not saying they're connected at all, but you know, just a few days later, they decided to add the Commander for 10k Chris. I don't know, make a connection. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. They added the tower, and to my surprise, to my utter surprise, people are quite mixed on this edition. And that kind of perplexes me, because this tower went from being off sale, right? Like you can no longer get this tower. It went from being that unobtainable, right? It went from that to being worth 10k crystals. Like what? And then we're mad. We're mad that it costs too much. Okay, you know what? Here, let us discuss. Let's discuss. All right. One of the main arguments I'm hearing is that maybe it's not worth the price. Maybe it's not worth 10,000 crystals, and that if you spend a little bit less, you can get something like the Shield Tower or like the Behemoth, which are like miles better. You know, I mean, yeah, I can see that. I agree. Those towers are vastly better than the Commander. And you know, I'd go as far as saying the Commander isn't really a necessary tower to bring when you can just have John. You know, they do the same exact thing. So why on earth would they ever price it at 10,000 crystals? Well, for one, how did people unlock Commander before? They had to play the Tower Battles event and grind the Tower Battles Battle Pass, which firsthand, doing that, it sucked. It took a lot of time, maybe more than 10 hours. I don't know. It could be, but I know it took a long time, right? That was a method you could do, that or Robux. So regardless of the pricing or future pricing event, it took a long time to get it initially. So going from that to 10k crystals is, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think 10k crystals might be less time spent than grinding the battle pass. Like so seriously. Still 10k crystals, you know, the Shield Tower is much less, the Behemoth is much less. It's not worth it, right? Like Commander, he's not worth it. He's not doing all that. But again, it's like it went from being off sale. It went from being off sale to being on sale. And not only on sale, it's not like a limited time thing. It's on sale permanently. You can grind out your days for the next 5 years, and you still will be able to buy this thing. What are we complaining, dude? You know, I tried. You know, no. As much hate as John gets, you know, for his decision making and stuff and all that stuff, I think this decision was actually one of the better ones. And even that, he still can't win. You can't win as a developer. I finally understand how he feels. So it's like, even if we were to reduce the crystal cost of this tower, right? Then how would it make the people who spent all that time grinding the battle? How does it make them feel, right? Like, I think this is the best medium that we could possibly get. Like, again, it went from being limited to not being limited, and not only that, the way to obtain it is arguably easier than it was before. I don't get it. I don't get you just can't win as a developer. You just can't win as a I've also heard arguments that people could be possibly confused, right? They're gonna see all of the rest of the crystal towers, right? You got the nightmare towers, and you know, people will be confused, like, oh my god, like this tower is grouped up with the other, you know, crystal towers. You know, it must be good, right? You know, it must be, you know, good, or like at the same level at the other towers. And I mean, yeah, I could get that, but then again, the oil tower, the oil tower came out, was 6k. It was horrible. And I'm sure from that, right, I think people will be a little bit more hesitant to just go buy towers out willy-nilly. I think people would be more inclined to read stats and whatnot, right? And even so, right, and it's an easy fix. All you gotta do is just separate the towers, right? Just have like a category. Oh, these are like limited event towers, and then these are the nightmare towers. Just because they all cost the same currency doesn't mean they all should be the same. Because then in that case, right, the oil tower would be considered a nightmare tower, and we all know that that tower is not a nightmare tower. That is not on par with the other towers. It's not even on par with some of the towers that cost gold. So it's like, use your brain. Just use your brain. Just watch a Rogue Ordinary video doing a tower review. Boom. I mean, like, even if you don't, like, it's 10k crystals, right? Anybody would be like, oh my god, wow, this is a steep purchase. Let me go do some research. Let me go do some research. I don't know. John, if you're watching this video, John, or anybody working at TDX, right? Anybody working, this was a good change. All right, do not listen to the community. This was a good change, and please just stick with it. Like, speaking as a free-to-play player. Okay, maybe not. I have VIP, but speaking as a mostly free-to-play player, right? This edition is awesome. All right, please, and you know what? Fuck it. Go ahead and put every other event tower on sale too for fucking 15,000, 20,000, 50,000 crystals. You can do that. That is fine. That is much better than completely just sealing that tower away. That's pretty much what I gotta say. See ya.